Hey there. Welcome to AfroDaddy.
You're watching AfroDaddy. Hey, that's my dad!
So I've just finished day 2 of week 4 of self-isolation. It's the second week of the official lockdown because of Corona. Yay! So a lot of you who watched my video last week were actually quite worried about me, which is kind of sweet. A lot of you wanted to make sure that I was okay and was checking in on me to make sure that, my mood swung up. I spoke a lot about how I kind of felt that this whole period was kind of ebbing and flowing or had peaks and troughs, and I was kind of in a trough last week. Things were just a real drag. Like, everything was difficult to do. It was difficult getting out of bed. It was difficult dealing with the boys. It was difficult getting work done. But let me tell you that things are still pretty difficult. But I did wake up on Monday morning with a renewed sense of purpose and vigor because I decided that I was not going to let this lockdown period get me down. And to do that, I was going to give myself small wins. Just a couple of things that I set out to do every day that's easy to achieve, but will make me feel good if I do them. So yeah, you're gonna laugh when I tell you what the things that are on my checklist are because they're so simple. But trust me, just making sure that I've checked these boxes every day has made me feel a lot better the following morning. So here we go. Number 1, have a shower every day. Just make sure you're clean. Number 2, get dressed in clothes that aren't pajamas. Just anything that you wouldn't go to sleep in. Number 3, get the work that pays your salary done. And I'm lucky because at the moment it's not an overwhelming amount of work, but still it's very easy to let things slide. Number 4 is get at least half an hour of studying done every day. I have a course that I'm doing. Do not want to fall behind with that because that's where anxiety lives, is when you fall behind and then you can't catch up, where you feel like you can't catch up. Not gonna let that happen because of number 4. Number 5, I want to know what I'm cooking for supper by lunchtime. That way, if I need to take anything out of the freezer and let things defrost, I have enough time to do it. Plus, it has the benefit of me not getting to 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock and freaking out because I don't know what I'm cooking for supper tonight. And finally, the most important one in my mind, number 6, making sure I spend half an hour every day doing something that is good for me. So that could be exercising or picking up my bass guitar and practicing, which I wished I had done for a long time, or it can be doing a little bit of gardening, or it can be even making an AfroDaddy video. But something that is really just for my soul, if you know what I mean. And look, to be fair, it's only been 2 days, but I've ticked those boxes and I'm at the evening of day 2 and I'm feeling pretty good. Or at least I'm feeling better than I was at this time last week, which is good. Lessons. So far I've learned that just because you love your kids completely and undeniably and with all of your heart and soul does not mean that they will not annoy the living crap out of you. And there might even be points where you think, I hate these kids. You don't hate them, but you might think that. The next big thing that I've learned is that sometimes teaching your kids responsibilities is a huge pain in the butt for you. Like, teaching your kids to clean up after themselves can take longer than just cleaning up after them. And at this point in time, I don't feel like we are in a teaching mode. I feel like we're in a surviving mode, which kind of leads me to my last big thing that I've learned so far in the last couple of weeks. When you are in survival mode, you can't feel guilty about the things you have to do to survive. For instance, my boys have watched too much TV. They just have. But we need to do that because we're 2 working parents and there's a lot of stuff to do. And that is one way that we can make sure that everything that needs to get done, gets done. So anyway, I want to say thank you so much to those of you who were concerned about me after my last video. I really do appreciate it. It makes me feel good to know that I have friends like you on this Facebook page or on this YouTube channel or on the website, wherever you're watching this. Can I say though, I would love for all of you to subscribe to the newsletter on the website. The reason why is that there's always more personal stuff that comes out in the newsletter that I send out like every couple of weeks. More about what's really going on in the home. I'm a little bit more open because I feel like these are people that I can talk to. So you need to go to AfroDaddyOnline.com and subscribe there to make sure you get the newsletter. And that also makes sure that you get all of the new pieces of AfroDaddy content because everything goes into the website. You might miss it if you're only on Facebook or only on Instagram or only on YouTube, but you will get all of it on the website. And by the way, if you are someone who feels like this lockdown is a good opportunity to like try and create content, maybe you're thinking about doing a podcast like the Ask AfroDaddy podcast, then you should definitely subscribe to the newsletter because in every newsletter I add a section about how I do all the AfroDaddy stuff. And at the moment I'm working through how to start and create a podcast. So whenever the newsletter comes out, there's a whole section just on how to make a podcast. And very soon I'll be moving on to how to vlog. And eventually, when I feel up to it, I'll move on to how to make a blog. That might take a bit more time. So right there are a bunch of reasons for you to subscribe to the newsletter. It is super easy. It makes me happy. It lets you into my like inner circle of friends. And finally, it gives you all like the behind the scenes insight on how all of this gets done. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do feel better when I get to talk to you and kind of explain how I'm feeling to you in this way, which also makes me want to ask how you're doing. How are you coping with the lockdown? Most of us are in the second week. So you might be in my situation, the third or fourth week of self-isolation. Are you coping with the kids around, with being in one spot, with not really seeing your friends, with not getting out? How are you doing? Leave it in the comments below or send me a DM. I would really appreciate it. But that's it for me. Cheers for now.
You're watching AfroDaddy. Hey, that's my dad.